at a value of $57.6 million, which means Foxconn owes $1.2 million in property taxes this year, according to the Village. Clearing skies in late afternoon, highs to the mid-70s, scattered thunderstorms expected this evening in Milwaukee. You're listening to WRRD and WTTN, Wisconsin's Political Talk.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, happy Thursday to you, my little buddy.
Rudy, happy Friday Eve, my dear friend. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, it's already a short work week.
I'm already there.
Except we're tacking an extra day on. Dominic, we're doing it live on Saturday. Of course, this fine radio network broadcasting the Democratic Party of Wisconsin convention. And we'll go live 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. Not you and I, per se.
But yes, fine host from this network.
Sabrina Madison will start the day's events at 10. Earl at noon, Joe Costa, 2 to 3. And Maggie Dawn of the Resistance, 3 to 4. Live speeches from 4 to like 5-ish. And then the greatest fill-in hosts of all time. Dom, you and I will carry the baton.
Is that what we're doing?
During the recess.
I want to be on recess. No, we will be the recess. We will be the recess entertainment. Make sure you tune in. So that'll be what, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock? What are we talking about?
Devil's Advocates, I would anticipate our fine little product, our little fill-in slot, maybe 4:45, something like that.
All right.
They're supposed to go to break at 4:45, Dom. They're supposed to come back with a speech by Tony Evers, I believe, about 6:30?
Yes, then the real speechifying starts.
I hope Tony doesn't GD us on live radio again this year, Dom. You remember last year in Vegas.
Don't swear. He can't help himself.
Yes, I know it's a live mic, and, you might be speaking to the converted in the room, Tony, but don't swear on the radio, buddy. Broadcasted it live. So that's something to look forward to. Also, later in this big show, Dom, we have the other Democratic Party of Wisconsin chair candidate, our good buddy, Rep. David Bowen. He's joining me in Madison. Said he doesn't like Dom anymore.
Oh, come on. He must
apparently
already be in Madison. Otherwise, he'd be here, man. He's a local cat in Milwaukee.
Yeah, he's got committee hearings in Madison today, coming over to the Broadcast Bunker 2.0, going to make the happy hour just a little happier today, Dom.
Right on.
But we got to start the show with Trump's very, very even-handed response to the Mueller presser yesterday, Dom, the little press conference. No Q&A. Mueller just said a few things. Very restrained, I thought Mueller was. Luckily, Trump mirrored his tone.
I got to pull up the Twitter feed before we get to some of the actual sound, because Trump today, within, a matter of 20 minutes, perhaps an hour, contradicting himself.
Now, Donald Trump did let a little Freudian tweet go this morning, right, Tom?
Russia, 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 Donald Trump tweets today. That's all you heard about the beginning of this witch hunt hoax. And now Russia has disappeared because I had nothing to do with Russia helping me to get elected. It was a crime that didn't exist. So now the Dems and their partner, the fake news media, say he fought back against this phony crime that didn't exist, this horrendous false accusation, and he shouldn't fight back. He should just sit back and take it. Could this be obstruction? No. Mueller didn't find obstruction either. Presidential harassment.
Dominic, is this Friday Eve for you or second Monday? You kind of butchered that one, but let's
Come on,
concentrate on the important aspect.
The important part. And now Russia. Well, come on. This is reading Trump. I mean, come on. It's Trump. These are not my words.
Not intended to be grammatical or sensical.
I had nothing to do with Russia helping me to get elected. It's almost like he admitted it.
Is that the very first time Trump's ever acknowledged that maybe someone put a thumb on the scale? Pooty poot, perhaps.
To my knowledge, yes.
But then, what did he do next? He stood by that statement, right? Proudly, courageously stood by his Twitter stream?
No, not at all. In fact, Eileen Sullivan from the New York Times quotes Mr. Trump today. No, Russia did not help me get elected, Trump told reporters as he departed the White House for Colorado Springs. I got me elected.
But he also deleted the tweet, Dom. I guess that was the greater point.
Oh, he did? No,
Trump made the Freudian slip of a tweet and then tried to eradicate that tweet from existence. But that's not how the interwebs work.
I am on Donald Trump's Twitter stream right now, and I read that from his specific feed. So it's still there.
That's odd. I had understood he had tried or had deleted the tweet, Dom. But anyways, he said it, little Freudian slip, said lots of stuff today. Not all of it on the gold-plated toilet seat, where we suspect he does most of his tweeting from, Dom.
Don't you mean governing?
Sure. Let's call it executive time.
Whatever gets you through the night.
Dom, we gotta start with the Trump.
Do we have to?
Yes, I think we do. And I've got some commentary perhaps afterwards. But let's start. Donald Trump, your president, not mine. Mueller. You know, Mueller, he's just bitter because he got passed over for FBI director, Dom. You know, the former FBI director didn't get the FBI director's job this time. Well, he must be bitter. Cut 86.
Robert Mueller should have never been chosen because he wanted the FBI job and he didn't get it. And the next day, he was picked as special counsel.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he was unemployed for long, Trump. Seemed like it all worked out for Robert Mueller, at least.
Come on, Crudy. He was biased. Cut 87.
So you tell somebody, I'm sorry, you can't have the job. And then after you say that, he's going to make a ruling on you. It doesn't work that way. Plus, we had a business dispute. Plus, his relationship with Comey was extraordinary.
I mean,
business dispute.
Let's talk about that for a moment.
Mueller requested the return of his, greens fees? His golf course membership. And apparently the Trump organization never acknowledged the request of now special counsel, now former special counsel, Robert Mueller. Mueller wanted his dues back, some modest dispute about golf course dues, and the Trump organization never gave the money back. And apparently that's created quite a conflict, Tom.
How could a guy like Mueller possibly be impartial when he didn't get his golf dues return, I guess?
Well, Dominic, other than, Brett Kavanaugh, who apparently golfs well beyond his means and had somebody else paying his dues for him and buying lots of, Nationals tickets. I'm not sure what pertinence the outstanding, return of deposit on the golf club membership. I just don't see that as twisting a Marine.
I mean, if it were to be so, and that was the case, and Mueller was so very salty about the lack of response and certainly the lack of a refund, wouldn't he have, charged the president with obstruction?
Or at least suggested that he should be charged?
I'm just saying.
I mean, you wouldn't have had to read between the lines if he was really salty and bitter, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Let's keep going. Donald Trump. Are we at 88 or 89?
88.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
No.
88 is great. We always dominate. Let's play cut 88.
Why didn't Comey come clean and say the things that he knows are fact? Why didn't Mueller investigate Comey, his best friend or his very good friend?
What? I mean, he wasn't supposed to investigate Comey, Trump.
Trump also, at one point during the course of the morning, Dom, said that there was love there. Or at least, infatuation?
A lot of like?
I'm thinking more like the Rod Stewart song. But anyways, more as we go down the list, more of the president out in front of the White House. Tom, the man makes you proud each and every day. You know, he's just so level-headed, so respectful to the institution.
So presidential.
Cut 90.
89. Well, nope, 89.
I don't see how they can, because they're possibly allowed, although I can't imagine the courts allowing it. I've never gone into it. I never thought that would even be possible to be using that word. To me, it's a dirty word, the word impeach. It's a dirty, filthy, disgusting word, and it had nothing to do with me. So I don't think so, because there was no crime. You know, it's high crimes and, not with or. It's high crimes and misdemeanors. There was no high crime and there was no misdemeanor. So how do you impeach based on that? And it came out that there was nothing to do with Russia. The whole thing is a scam. It's a giant presidential harassment. And honestly, I hope it goes down as one of my greatest achievements, because I've exposed corruption. Like nobody knew existed.
Trump's on the case.
Dominic, impeachment, a dirty word, apparently, for Donald Trump. Of course, if you're the president and they're talking about impeaching someone, it would seem a dirty word to you.
A dirty, filthy, disgusting word.
But how does it seem so implausible after the Mueller report, after the 2 years of investigations? How does it seem so implausible that there could be impeachment, Dom? I know he doesn't think he's deserved, you know, great economy and all that kind of stuff. But how does he find it so implausible that could happen?
Well, of course, he's President Trump. He does nothing wrong ever. And in fact, the collusion was with Clinton and the Russians. And in fact, if you believe Trump, it was Clinton for whom the Russians were rooting for in their efforts. See, it's all twisted, man. It's just a deep state conspiracy to bring down this honorable, decent, patriotic president that Donald Trump is.
Now, Dominic, CNN described this speechifying by the president this morning, called it a tirade of lies. And I would point out, even Putin contradicted him. You remember the Helsinki hand job, Dom? Keep talking about that. Putin said at that very event that he preferred Donald Trump because he thought he would soften the policy against Russia. Putin expressed his preference for you, Trump, and he did so, through the hacking as well in the social media. You know, there's a few tells. That's why you tweeted this morning, Trump. You can't take it back. You can't take back a tweet. Now, whether or not he meant to delete the tweet, well, that's up to discussion, Dom. But he said it, or at least he tweeted it, and that's kind of like saying it. Come back with us, Devil's Advocates. You can say whatever you want around here, just as long as it's not profane. 844-967-2789.
The collusion delusion. We have information that you don't want to know about. Russia. It's not like it's complicated. It's very simple. I was never a fan of John McCain, and I never will be. You're going to be dead. It's other things. She was very rigid, which I would expect. It's tremendously big and tremendously wet. You know I'm totally off script right now. But there's been no collusion, no obstruction, and virtually everybody agrees to that.
All workers benefit from unions, as unions create the highest standard in wages, health and welfare, retirement security, and workplace protections. Hello, this is Tom Bennett, President of Teamsters General Local 200. Your voice is your strength. The ability to build a stronger and better tomorrow begins today. Teamsters Local 200 represents workers in numerous industries, and our team is ready to sit down with you and your co-workers to build your unified team. Call Teamsters Local 200 at 414-771-6363 or visit us on Facebook or www.teamsterslocal200.com.
Hey, Milwaukee, do you have an office to clean out or close out? Don't call the junk man. Call my friends at Madison Liquidators. Sustainability is their business model. They'll pick up and recycle and refurbish your used furniture. They'll help keep your old office furniture out of the landfill. Find them online at MadisonLiquidators.com. Call Madison Liquidators, 608-831-1012. Madison Liquidators. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
5 Nines, your local single source IT solutions provider. specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy59s.com.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates. They refuse to do math on the radio.
Dr. Michael Hicks, professor of economics, director of the Center for Business and Economic Research at Ball State University. This is troubling math all the way around. According to your mathematics, Michael, when do you think the great state of Wisconsin will get paid back on its investment?
Right. I mean, the answer is the answer is never.
The Devil's Advocates. Sausage making never looked so good.
And we're back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show, streaming on YouTube and on Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the political party line. Talk or text, toll free, 844-967-2789. Our audience is our guest today.
No, we got David Bowen coming in the
that's right.
hour, Dom.
That was man. Come on, that was like a 20-minute ago booking. I'll write it down. And our audience.
Hey, it happened before the show started, man. Make a note of it. Also,
hey, 20 minutes ago was before the show started. I made a note of it. Learn how to read time.
Audience is our guest. You're the one that said it, fella. Michelle tweets at us at Devil Radio. So you guys don't swear on the radio? Question mark.
I know, it's quite amazing. Don't curse not to. I try not to.
We do have a delay just in case someone lets something slip. And you know, something in the history of this radio station might have slipped out, something occasionally, but don't make a habit of it.
I'm going to say one thing.
Like that.
Trump.
Yeah,
well, that was Robert Mueller saying that. That wasn't us. That was angry Mueller, right, Tom? Do you think that Donald Trump has maybe confused the De Niro character on Saturday Night Live with the actual Mueller? Because he does accuse Mueller of being a never-Trumper. And, of course, he continuously, I mean the president, hashtag not my president, Trump, continuously accuses what Mueller being an angry Democrat of some sort. A Hillary lover, no doubt. Let's get to it. Trump again this morning at the White House. Cut 90 if you would. I got me elected, Dom. I got me elected. You didn't build that.
You know who got me elected? You know who got me elected? I got me elected. Russia didn't help me at all.
But that's not what he tweeted out earlier today. I had nothing to do with Russia helping me to get elected.
Dominic, I would say the Electoral College helped Trump get elected.
But, I mean,
It wasn't the popular vote.
Most magnanimous type, victorious people would honor and dedicate their victory to the hardworking supporters and the grassroots and all those things, right? It was a team effort. We all did it. We all had oars in the water. We all worked together as a team.
They're winners. Winners get to do what they want.
And no, but that's not what Trump says. Play it again, cut 90. He did it. It was all Trump. All you Trumpsters out there, you had nothing to do with it. Let's play it again.
You know who got me elected? You know who got me elected? I got me elected. Russia didn't help me at all.
Dominic, you know who makes this the greatest radio show ever?
I do.
No, I claimed it. I called it first.
Brian does. Let's keep going. We have phone lines open as well, 844-967-2789, but you have to eat your broccoli. This is a quote you referred to, Crudy. Trump this morning on Mueller being a never-Trumper, 91.
I think Mueller is a true never-Trumper. He's somebody that dislikes Donald Trump. He's somebody that didn't get a job that he requested, that he wanted very badly, and then he was appointed.
When Trump says never-Trumper, I just think to myself, isn't everybody?
And, of course, he has to follow that up by referring to himself in the third person, which every stable genius will do when referencing themselves.
I'm a never salvia guy myself.
That's harassment. Cut 92, please, Brian.
It's a giant presidential harassment. And honestly, I hope it goes down as one of my greatest achievements because I've exposed corruption.
You know, we would have gotten away with it, too, if it wasn't for that meddling Donald Trump.
I would say he's exposed corruption. Again, Another Freudian slip, Dom. He's got at least one more on the day. We'll play it for you just a little bit later. But, I'm pretty sure our astute audience might just notice one more slip of the tongue.
Let's keep going. Answering a real reporter's question, Cut 93.
I think we're doing very well with China. Come here, I want to shake your hand. Come here. You've treated me fairly. Thank you. Thank you. Wait.
It wasn't Jim Acosta.
A real reporter's question. We're gonna answer a real reporter's question, okay? China.
All right, let's get this one in here. Again, an exchange with reporter regarding being guilty. Clinton yes.
I would point out, for the sake of the audience, at least one more time, Dom, you've shaken his hand. Apparently,
he's shaking my hand. Why do you keep
a real
saying
reporter
that?
as well? Because he thought you were a real little boy, Dom.
I am a live boy. Let's get this in before the end of this segment. Cut 97.
There were no charges, none. If you look at Bill Clinton, that very nice gentleman who's been so much on my side, as you know, his special prosecutor, it was guilty. So many guilties. With me, there was no guilty. Number one, there was no crime. And number two, I fought back. And I'll tell you, wait. Well, there was no collusion. Read volume 1. There was no collusion. That means you're innocent. Excuse me. Then he should have said, you're guilty. That's wrong. No, because he said it differently the first time.
I'll say it, Trump. You're guilty. And yes, you shook my hand. You're welcome.
Did he also give you a little pat on the head, Dom?
Well, he didn't grab me by the impeachment, that's for sure.
We are the Devil's Advocates. Always appreciate your participation in our little afternoon. I was going to say folly, but it's an important show. It's very important. Very important. Some people say I make it the greatest radio show ever. Come back with us. Join us on the phones. The phone lines, they're toll-free for you at 844-967-2789. You can text them out as well. Just not sure if that costs you anything. You work it out.
Do you want to be a winner? All the winners I know like the Devil's Advocates Facebook page.
If you're like a lot of companies, you know you need IT, but you aren't sure where to start. That's where Five Nines comes in. Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO. For almost 15 years, Five Nines has been providing IT solutions to companies just like yours. We'll show you the solutions that are right for your business and give you the roadmap to success in the future. Find us at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What, did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
You are listening to WRRD 1510 AM, Waukesha, Milwaukee. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com.
This is Ben Wickler, running for chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin with Felicia Martin for first vice chair and Lee Snodgrass for second vice chair. Our platform spells FIRE. F is for fight on issues between elections. I and R for include and respect everyone, rural, suburbs, cities, and communities of color. And E for empower, empowering grassroots activists with better data, technology, and training. Vote for me, Ben Wickler, Felicia Martin, and Lee Snodgrass this Sunday at the Democratic Party of Wisconsin Convention. Learn more at benwickler.com.
Here in the Badger State, we have our own expressions. When we're looking to go on vacation, we state, well, let's go up north. Hello, this is Tom Bennett, president of Teamsters Local 200. Here in the Badger State, we also have another expression, union yes. The strength of the labor movement depends on elected officials here in Wisconsin and Washington, D.C. that support the values of working families that raise the standards for all. Give us a call at Teamsters Local 200 at 414-771-6363 or visit our website at www.teamsterslocal200.com or on Facebook at Teamsters Local 200. Be engaged.
Electric bikes are exciting. E-bikes improve your health. E-bikes give you fun things to do this summer besides going out to eat.
Lynn, I have gotten chubby.
Lose weight, lower blood pressure.
But is it going to cost me $2,000?
No, at Crazy Lenny's E-Bikes, we have bikes for just $690. Get outside this summer. Ride the trails. Get an e-bike. Go up hills without pedaling. E-bikes only $690 at Crazy Lenny's E-Bikes, 6017 Odana Road.
You don't have to buy one. Just try one.
No, you don't have to buy one. Just try one.
The Democratic Party of Wisconsin Convention will broadcast live on WRRD 1510 AM Saturday, June 1st, beginning at 10. Hosted coverage with Sabrina Madison, Earl Ingram Jr., Joe Costa Zamaripa, and the Devil's Advocates through Saturday night speeches. Exclusive WRRD 1510 AM coverage sponsored by the Wickler Martin Snodgrass ticket, Teamsters Local 200, CD1 Democratic Party, and the Packing House Restaurant.
For WRRD and WTTN, my name is Brian Kelly with your headlines. Yesterday, Congresswoman Gwen Moore held a press conference with Mayor Barrett for the Mama's First Act. The act proposes Medicaid expansion to expectant mothers who are seeking the services of doulas and midwives. The act intends to lower the infant mortality rate. Allergy sufferers are probably already aware that pollen and mold counts are high this time of year, with mold spores levels in the air rated as very high following the rain earlier this week. The Brewers head off yesterday. They take on the Pirates in Pittsburgh tonight. Clearing skies in late afternoon, highs to the mid-70s, scattered thunderstorms expected this evening in Milwaukee. Overnight lows around 50, and Friday, highs in the 80s. You're listening to WRRD and WTTN, Wisconsin's Political Talk.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling devil's advocates.
Back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. We got our own little lunatic friends around here, Dom, and we love when they participate in the show at 844-967-2789 or tweet us out at Devil Radio. Now, here's a tweet I want to read it quickly. Michael in Wisconsin tweets out at Devil Radio that Brian puts together and presents a solid show. Give him some love.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you. Our Brian? Fancy Brian?
Must be that Gary guy.
Apparently, he's a fan.
A very talented host and producer. Thank you, sir.
We love you, man. You know we love you, Brian. I'm glad that the people love you nearly as much as we love you, and there's a lot of you to love.
There is indeed. In fact, some might say I'm two people.
And I really like you, too.
Oh, and also Kuchka tweeted out, in response to Michelle's tweet before, do you swear on the radio? My response was nope. And Kuchka says, define swear.
What do you mean by that?
Go F yourself, Kuchka. That's what I mean.
FCC compliant swear words, of course.
And just walking up to some lines with some very tight audio edits occasionally.
Hey, we're all adults here. Everybody's fine.
I'm such a dick.
Hey, that only needs to get played like once per quarter.
I'm filling quotas here, man. That's all I'm doing.
And real quick, we'll get to the callers. We love you callers at 844-967-2789. But a little more obscenity from the president, his tirade of lies. Let's play just to the end. I'm just a few left, a skosh left.
Let's start with cut 98.
So he said, essentially, you're innocent. I'm innocent of all charges. And you know the thing that nobody brings up? There was no crime. They're saying he's obstructing something and there was no crime. And nobody brings it up.
Essentially,
you're innocent. No one ever said anything close to essentially.
No, not only
you're
that,
innocent
of all charges. There have been no charges. There has been no trial. I'm glad you are hoping for that, Mr. Trump, as am I. We'll see during the impeachment.
You know, my takeaway is slightly different than the president's. My takeaway was unindictable as long as you're the sitting president. That's a little different than innocent.
Let's keep going. Eat your broccoli, Trump 99.
Also, someday you ought to read a thing called Article 2. Read Article 2.
Never read it, Trump.
Which gives the president powers that you wouldn't believe. But I don't even have to rely on Article 2.
Somebody probably did tell Trump that he's got nearly unlimited powers under Article 2, or at least that's his perception. I think him and Bill Barr came to that conclusion together, Dom.
Okay, did a quick Google search. Specific powers for the president under Article 2. Serve as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, commission officers of the Armed Forces, grant reprieves and pardons, convene Congress in special sessions, receive ambassadors, take care that the laws be faithfully executed, wield the executive power, and there's pretty broad there, and appoint cabinet officials, White House staff, and Supreme Court justices, to name a few.
Fury, and frankly, power.
And frankly, if this guy can have all these powers and all this ability and hell, responsibility, serving as commander-in-chief and chief executive of this country, you're going to tell me that he can't handle a trial as well? He can't be charged and, show up in court once or twice to testify? That is a bunch of BS. That OLC, the Justice Department memo. Let's finish it up.
Dominic, real quick.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has been, on the receiving end of 1,600 lawsuits through his adult life, and has sued nearly as many people in his own regard. Never seemed to bother him, the litigation prior.
Right, had plenty of time to do that. And if you could be the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces and the chief executive of this country and have all these responsibilities, duties, and charges, you can be charged with a crime and show up in court like everybody else. Trump 100.
There was no crime, there was no obstruction, there was no collusion, there was no nothing. And this is from a group of people that hate me. If they only found anything, they would have had it. And he knows that better than anybody.
And 101.
He said he didn't.
There was no crime, there was no charge because he had no information.
Whoa. We had no information. Why?
Because you freaking obstructed justice, Trump.
Yes. And during your efforts, during your conspiracy with the Russians, you and some of your cohorts perhaps used encrypted data. You lied. You deleted data so that the special counsel could not get access to it. As I've said before, I've quoted the fine report, and I suggest everybody go read the report. Hell, just read the summaries. Do a little homework before you call up here and tell us that we're wrong. But if that information was not destroyed, if they did not use encrypted data, if they were able to subpoena and get access to, 140 crudies, what I saw in the New York Times, 140 Russian contacts, that perhaps it would shed a new light on this issue or cast it entirely in a new light.
Somewhere in the other 10% of Russian contacts that we do not yet have substantiated, annotated transcripts from the phone conversations, that's where the real trouble lies, Dom. Because I think there's probably a little evidence with the 127 initial contacts that we have some evidence of.
844-967-2789. Betsy, you are up. Happy Thursday, Betsy. What do you got for us today?
Well, happy Thursday, and you guys are the greatest radio show
thank you,
ever,
Betsy.
just so you know that. I mean, my goodness.
Mostly because of me, though, right, Betsy?
You see what I got to put up with.
No, I think we have to thank Scott Walker, don't we? I don't know. Oh, geez, I hate to say that, but he's the one who woke me up, and with all this, oh my God, you guys, you are angels. I just want you to know, and Brian, you're the best too. But did anyone receive a presidential pledge of support from Melania Trump? Anybody?
No, nothing.
Well, I did.
What does that mean? What did you receive, Betsy?
You have to sign this loyalty letter. You sign it and you give it to Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, it says. And it says, please know that I'm 100% behind you in this critical times, when it is extremely vital that we stand united against the Democrats, the mainstream media, and the other powerful foes who are determined to derail our presidency and to destroy you personally. And it's just...
And
oh
who'd you get that from, Betsy? Who's the love letter from?
First Lady Melania Trump.
Be best.
Yeah.
I don't think she plagiarized that one from Michelle Obama.
Gosh, you guys. I'm very disturbed. This president is ill. He's not right. I mean, help us. Help us. I mean, what can we do? This is a runaway train. It really is. I mean, really.
I don't think so.
Is that a possibility?
I mean, hell, some kid from Madison got down on Mar-a-Lago, so, I mean, all you got to do is walk in like you own the place. Maybe they'll let you in.
Do you see that, Betsy? A college kid from UW walked into Mar-a-Lago, and they let him through the Secret Service. He was in the joint for like 20 minutes before he got arrested.
No, this is just, I mean, this is a
I admire the kid.
Well, so do I. I mean, geez. Let's go have an adventure and see what Trump...
See what happens, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's...
College kid, Chinese spies, they're all welcome at Mar-a-Lago. They're just looking for the dues. You paid the entry fee, you can get in.
Is there an open bar once you get past the Secret Service?
You guys, this is a crisis in our country, big time. It's really bad.
Well, it may be, but Betsy, here's the thing: don't we have the safeguards set up, right? I mean, that's how this country was made to handle a crisis like this, right?
No, this country, and Betsy, appreciate your call, sister. Just hang in there, keep the faith. But no, this country is not prepared. The guardrails are not in place to handle a guy like Donald Trump.
No, the guardrails are there. Just because the people are perhaps a little feckless doesn't mean that the separation of powers, the structure in which this government has been set up from day one, we're testing it. We're doing that. But that does require some effort on the part of the citizens and certainly effort on the part of the representatives. Congress, do your job. You just heard the special counsel tell you, impeach the bastard.
Effort, Dom. I put an unhappy face on Facebook. I did my part. And real quick, I didn't get a love letter from Melania, but I have gotten a handful of tweets from, text messages from the Trump campaign in the last 2 days, Dom.
Ooh, busy.
First of all, on Tuesday, Team Trump, President Trump is calling on you, all caps, to help crush our $2 million end-of-the-month goal. Limited time only, Dom. All gifts triple matched by Russian oligarchs. Here's another one yesterday, about 6:30 last night, after we were off the air. President Trump, case is closed. The witch hunt is over. All caps on the over. Let's send the swamp a message and crush our goal. Donate in the next hours, and it'll be tripled by Russian oligarchs. And then one more from Eric Trump, Dom. I always take note when it's Eric. I noticed you didn't donate to our crucial, all caps, end of the month goal. 1 day left. Time to step up, friend. Donate now. The triple times match through Deutsche Bank laundered money from Russian oligarchs.
I think you're adding those on, Curdy.
I'm not clear that I did. 844-967-2789. Dick from Madison, you're next. Welcome, sir.
I couldn't agree more with your last caller. This would all be really hilarious if it wasn't so just plain pathetic and scary. But did you notice that little slip, one of the many? The one that just jumped out at me is, I didn't know about the Russians helping me get elected in his tweet. early this morning?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I admitted that all the stuff that I've been saying isn't true and didn't happen, and now all of a sudden he tweets out, well, what's next? Are you going to send Rudy out to clean it up?
Here's the quote, Dick, specifically, quote, "And now Russia has disappeared because I had nothing to do with Russia helping me to get elected."
Yeah, well, I blew it a little bit.
No, but it's very telling. And he's essentially innocent, right? Cleared of all charges, Dick. Just listen. But you're right. I mean, this is a crisis, and we try to have a good time here because this can be depressing. It can kind of make me a little angry, and we all react. Yeah, we got some dark humor, I guess, on this thing. But it's also so unbelievable that this guy gets up here and talks and behaves and says the things and does the things that he does, Dick. I'm not clear what the proper response is, but my response is just to laugh at the fool.
Dick, let me ask you a commentary on politics in this country.
Dick, let me ask you a question.
Pretty much the same.
If your wife ever asked you, or your missus, or whoever's important to you in your life, "Hey, Dick, have you ever cheated on me?" And the response from you was, "No, essentially, I'm innocent." You getting any that night, Dick?
Yeah, that's probably not a good avenue to go. But no, everything, like you say, on a daily basis, it just keeps coming. And these people that don't want to do it, that are in the House, that say, "Oh, this is exactly what they want," the Trump team, basically. No, most people don't have time for all this.
Yeah.
But if you put it on television,
and the radio, don't forget the radio, Dick.
Right, and all over the place. I'm old enough to remember, Watergate. Then all of a sudden, people start watching.
Yeah.
And maybe something would actually happen. But to just sit and spin,
I don't know if it's just sitting and spinning, though, Dick. I mean, they did get some talk about the court cases that were on last week. It came down on the side of the just, and specifically, I guess, the Dems and progressives, and at least on the thought process of Speaker Pelosi. Let some of these things play out. Between today and tomorrow, we're going to get transcripts of specific conversations, or at least messages left between Kislyak and Flynn, as well as perhaps some redacted portions of the Mueller report that are in regards to Flynn. So,
Michael Flynn, National Security Advisor and Chief Coffee Boy.
So there's still more information coming out through these processes, and I'm okay. I'm there right now, Dick, and I get it if Nancy wants to play a longer game. And remember, about a month ago, we had Speaker Pocan on. He said, give it 4 to 6 weeks. Well, hell, it was like 3 weeks, and he was already on. So I think in the next 4 to 8 weeks, as these things continue to roll, we'll probably have more and more people, at least on the Dem side, perhaps, certainly coming forward. And I wouldn't doubt if there's a few Republicans, depending on what the context and the specific words used in these conversations between Kislyak and Flynn and some of this other information, these specific contexts with the Russians come out.
You're going to need like about 100 Congress people. There has to be a critical point where there's enough support publicly that Nancy Pelosi feels the pressure. The number's probably 100, maybe a little north of that. But when you get 100 Congress people publicly saying, impeach the MFer, Dick, we're in for good ratings because we're going to have Watergate 2.0 right here on the radio.
Well, one last thing, I've actually asked a friend of mine at a point, I said, if you had somebody in your family act as this certifiably insane, what would you do? And, they're like, oh, yeah, I got to agree with you. But yet the same person says, but you got to admit he's entertaining. Not to me.
Yeah, so's my drunk uncle until he starts breaking my stuff.
Thanks for the call, Dick. It's more, and it is. I mean,
is it purely for entertaining?
I think there's a lot of Republicans that voted for Trump because he was entertaining and because they thought he would break stuff. And certainly Trump is doing that. Is it entertaining? Andrew Dice Clay was entertaining when I was 12 years old for a minute, but after a while it gets really old, and then you see perhaps the danger of having someone as flippant as Trump in charge and has the ability to do things that he can do. It certainly becomes more concerning.
Hickory dickory dock. It's not a political party till something gets broken. Come back with us. We'll break it. Your phone calls are next. 844-967-2789. More Devil's Advocates. It's a party.
Given my experience working for Mr. Trump, I fear that if he loses the election in 2020, that there will never be a peaceful transition of power.
Powers that you wouldn't believe. Strong, powerful.
By the power of Grayskull.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Very powerful.
Wisconsin, home to the world's best cheese, best beer, and best football fans in America. But unfortunately, Wisconsin is also home to something else. Tens of thousands of citizens who just can't afford health care. We're talking friends and neighbors struggling to take care of themselves and their families. Many working long hours, or sometimes 2 jobs, in industries like retail, construction, childcare, and agriculture. Jobs that don't always offer benefits or pay wages high enough to allow someone to afford coverage on their own. That's why it's time the legislature fully expanded Badger Care for people making less than $8.50 an hour. It's a smart investment for our state, saving lives and taxpayer dollars, providing affordable health coverage for our citizens. Get the facts at betterbadgercare.com. Then tell your legislator to take action today. It's the right thing to do right now. Paid for by Citizen Action of Wisconsin.
All workers benefit from unions, as unions create the highest standard in wages, health and welfare, retirement security, and workplace protections. Hello, this is Tom Bennett, President of Teamsters General Local 200. Your voice is your strength. The ability to build a stronger and better tomorrow begins today. Teamster Local 200 represents workers in numerous industries, and our team is ready to sit down with you and your co-workers to build your unified team. Call Teamsters Local 200 at 414-771-6363 or visit us on Facebook or www.teamsterslocal200.com.
Hey, Milwaukee, do you have an office to clean out or close out? Don't call the junk man. Call my friends at Madison Liquidators. Sustainability is their business model. They'll pick up and recycle and refurbish your used furniture. They'll help keep your old office furniture out of the landfill. Find them online at MadisonLiquidators.com. Call Madison Liquidators, 608-831-1012. Madison Liquidators. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
The Devil's Advocates. Sausage making never looked so good.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show, streaming on YouTube, streaming on Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and the political party line. Always open, talk or text toll free, 844-967-2789.
Dominic, let's go straight back to the phones. Pete from Milwaukee is next. Pete, I hear that means the good land.
Thanks for putting me on. Hey, Crute, you didn't see the fine print on that offer you got from Trump. It said if you don't contribute, he's got a one-way ticket to Siberia for you, free of charge.
Well, apparently I already live just a little left of Stalingrad.
According to Walker.
Yep, see? You're close already. You just don't know where you're going to wind up. It's going to be somewhere in that situation. But, yeah, this guy is really out of it. I mean, today basically said, yeah, the Russians helped me. Thank you very much. And we all knew that before, and so he's come around to it too again.
Pete, I've heard Righty Whitey Talk Radio try to defend the man today. Effectively, here's the defense, if I understand the way they're spinning it. The defense is effectively Article 2 of the Constitution gives Trump unlimited powers. I mean, Robert Mueller, special counsel, only served as long as Trump wanted him to serve. James Comey. The only reason James Comey has a job is because the chief executive wants him on the job. Therefore, there can be no crime if the chief executive chooses to fire his FBI director. Some would say that's the biggest impetus behind why Trump was investigated through a special counsel. Above and beyond that, if he wanted to fire the special counsel, which was one of the enumerated counts of obstruction of justice, well, he has it within his right to do that, Pete, if you read Article 2 to the most literal and broadest extent.
Well, that's the point. You really have to put some stuff in there. That means that he can basically do just about anything he wants.
And of course he can't. That's the whole point, and that's why we need Congress and however long it takes them to get their feet, but hopefully it's sooner than later, Pete, to address this. Because if the DOJ can't do it, we obviously can't just let a corrupt and treasonous bastard president stay there.
Exactly. We need the people to step up and make him obey the law.
Well, good luck with that.
Who comes...
I just want him to vacate the premises. I just wanted to give the guy a 5-day notice.
I'll tell you one thing. If this was back in 1854 or something, what do you think he'd be doing right now?
Rounding up indigenous people and putting them on the Trail of Tears? I mean, the man admires Jackson. Moved a picture of Andrew Jackson into the White House. If he had gotten elected as a 18th century populist, he'd be sticking it to people of some tone of skin darker than yours and mine, Pete.
You got it.
And colluding with somebody, the Canadians.
I mean, he'd be colluding somewhere. Hey, thanks for the call, Pete. Do certainly appreciate it. And I just, Crudy, what I don't get with this defense, because of course there's always the flip side. And anyone who says that I have confirmation bias or am somehow not trying to be righteous in this whole thing, if this were a Democrat, I would be just as pissed off. This is absolutely ridiculous behavior by the chief executive of this country.
You just have Trump derangement syndrome, just like you had Walker derangement syndrome.
Just like I had Obama derangement syndrome and Hillary derangement syndrome. Here's my syndrome. If I can't do it, either can they. And there's got to be some standard that's not mine. Right? There's a contract with society, right? There's a civil contract here. Not only do we have the Constitution and the separation of powers and a way to do it, there's also a way to behave and traditions and institutions and all those things. And if you want to say that to hell with all of that, you want to just burn it all down? Okay. But then nobody has to play by any rules. And if you want to go there, that's a whole different world than what we try to aspire to. If you want the anarchy, and not the literal anarchy, but if you just want riots in the streets and broken windows, that kind of thing, keep going down this road. We should aspire to better, and Trump is dragging us down.
My drinking buddy Dan O'Donnell down the dial on Righty Whitey Talk Radio. Also, here's his other defense of the Trump administration, Dom. Well, it's very similar to the John Doe 2 witch hunt prosecution of Scott Walker here in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, my God.
And since you could not prosecute it, or at least it was not prosecuted, it's just same. Total exoneration, vindication. Essentially, Donald Trump and Scott Walker, they're essentially innocent. Come back with us. Hour 2 is next. More Devil's Advocates. Phone lines always open. 844-967-2789. Want to be more presidential? Tweet the Devil's Advocates at Devil Radio.
Actually, it's pronounced Milwaukee, which is Algonquin for the good land.
Electric bikes are exciting. E-bikes improve your health. E-bikes give you fun things to do this summer besides going out to eat.
Lynn, I have gotten chubby.
Lose weight, lower blood pressure.
But is it going to cost me $2,000?
No, at Crazy Lenny's E-Bikes, we have bikes for just $690. Get outside this summer. Ride the trails. Get an e-bike. Go up hills without pedaling. E-bikes only $690 at Crazy Lenny's E-Bikes, 6017 Odana Road.
You don't have to buy one. Just try one.
No, you don't have to buy one. Just try one.
The Democratic Party of Wisconsin Convention will broadcast live on WRRD 1510 AM Saturday, June 1st, beginning at 10. Hosted coverage with Sabrina Madison, Earl Ingram Jr., Joe Costa Zamaripa, and the Devil's Advocates through Saturday night speeches. Exclusive WRRD 1510 AM coverage sponsored by the Wickler Martin Snodgrass ticket, Teamsters Local 200, CD1 Democratic Party, and the Packing House Restaurant.
You are listening to WRRD 1510 AM, Waukesha, Milwaukee. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com.
Historic flooding, Barr versus Mueller. I'm Mike Moss. Dangerous weather along the East Coast this afternoon, with more than 28 million people at elevated risk of tornadoes. After taking a bird's-eye view of flooding in Arkansas, Governor Asa Hutchinson was stunned.
When you see it from the air, the breadth of the flooding, you realize the historic area that we are in terms of the Arkansas River. We've never seen this before. We've never had to deal with this before, so there are a lot of unknowns.
Among the unknowns, whether levees along the Arkansas River can withstand the historic flooding. The $19 billion disaster aid bill failed to pass the House by unanimous consent for a third time today, blocked by a single GOP member. Attorney General William Barr says he thinks former special counsel Robert Mueller could have reached a conclusion on whether the president obstructed justice. He tells CBS News the nation's in uncharted times.
We live in a hyper-partisan age where people no longer really pay attention to the substance of what's said, but as to who says it and what side they're on and what its political ramifications are.
Barr says though Justice Department rules prevent the indictment of a sitting president, Mueller could have decided whether Trump had committed a crime. Two parties fighting the asking of a citizenship question in the 2020 census have informed the Supreme Court they have evidence the question is
always pushed back hard that it was politically motivated. And this could be the first concrete evidence to the contrary.
President Trump is considering a new regulation that would prohibit migrants who have resided in a third country from traveling through Mexico to claim asylum in the U.S. The Dow up 43. I'm Mike Morse.
Hello, I'm Tom Bennett, President of Teamsters Local 200. In 1903, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters was founded, and our local union was founded in 1935 here in Milwaukee. During the last 115 years, the principles and values for the Teamsters Union have made many improvements for working families, creating a pathway to the American middle class. Teamsters have assisted families and communities in times of need. Currently, our active and retired membership are collectively working to benefit working families across this nation for retirement security and addressing long-term social needs here in Madison, Wisconsin, and in Washington, D.C. American workers do have a voice in the workplace. Let Teamsters Local 200 be part of that action plan for you. For more information, please visit us on Facebook at Teamsters Local 200 or visit our website at www.teamsterslocal200.com or give us a call at 414-771-6363. TeamstersLocal200.com or 414-771-6363.
Canada to discuss trade with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Vice President Mike Pence had on his mind this evening's NBA Finals Game 1 opener being played in Toronto as the home team Raptors take on the Golden State Warriors.
You've been an attentive host, which is a little bit surprising because, frankly, we thought you'd be a little more preoccupied with tonight's basketball game. So let me take this opportunity to congratulate you and all of Canada on a historic first, the Toronto Raptors' first ever appearance in the NBA Finals. I know where your loyalties are, and you know where my loyalties are. It's going to be a great game and a great playoffs.
R&B singer R. Kelly is facing new sexual assault charges, 11 counts involving one victim. He's already charged with sexually assaulting 4 women, including 3 minors. The new charges carry a sentence of 30 years for Kelly if he's convicted. I'm Mike Moss.
Do you have...
Businesses today thrive and survive with technology. At Five Nines, we provide businesses with the IT tools they need to stay relevant. We offer enterprise-level solutions at competitive prices. I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Let us manage your IT so you can focus on more important things, like running your business. Check us out at 5nines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Teens in foster care will love you, even if you don't know the lingo.
Dad bod, noun. The result of the occasional donut, always washed down with confidence.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council. Visit adoptuskids.org.
When you shop Goodwill, you don't just bring home a vintage dress or cat lamp. You bring home so much good to your community because everything you buy funds local job training and more. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
For WRRD and WTTN, my name is Brian Kelly with your headlines. Yesterday, the Milwaukee Common Council rejected Mayor Barrett's nominee to the Fire and Police Commission. Alderman Robert Bauman summed up the opposition to Denise Bartlett's nomination, saying Bartlett was, quote, completely unqualified despite being a fair-minded person. Common Council President Ashanti Hamilton questioned if the weight and responsibility of the position was fully understood by the last two nominees to head the commission. $390 million is being invested into a reworking of the Kinnickinnick River waterway to alleviate flooding and make it less dangerous to people that live in that area. Clearing skies in late afternoon, highs to the mid-70s, scattered thunderstorms expected this evening in Milwaukee. Overnight lows around 50, and Friday, highs in the 80s. You're listening to WRRD and WTTN, Wisconsin's Political Talk.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dom, just sitting here thinking to myself, how long have I known you? I think it's longer than 25 years.
Really? I always say like 25 years, but I've probably been saying that for a few years now.
Dom, you realize we've had tattoos. We got our very first tattoos in June it's been 20 years now. We got tattoos together for the very first time 20 years ago this month, Dom.
And how's that Dom on your lower back working out? Is this? It was sexy then. That's what everyone was doing. But, I appreciate that. Love you, man.
It's a very nice scripted font.
It's a little stretched out. Well, Dom, I guess I've known you something 25 years or more. I haven't known you since childhood. I've heard a few stories. The stories you don't often tell are about getting bullied on the playground.
Yeah, it was never really
I feel
bullied.
confident that you were the target of the bully. You never had lunch money, did you?
I was actually, I was a little angrier when I was younger. And this...
How could you tell the difference?
I haven't really grown in, height since probably, 7th grade. So I was regular size for a long time. And then everyone else kept growing, and I stopped growing, and then I had to rely on my wit and charm on the playground.
So you got the snot beat out of you constantly is what you're trying to say. Well, Dominic, I found a little article, long wind up to an article I found at theweek.com. Democrats have forgotten how playground bullying works. Brian Cooper, the author of this piece, published about 5 days ago. The Democratic Party is struggling mightily to figure out how to confront President Trump's staggering corruption. More and more of its members of Congress are getting behind the idea of an impeachment inquiry, but the party leadership, somewhat mysteriously, trying desperately to avoid the issue. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi has deployed one excuse after the next. Most recently, the absolutely preposterous theory that Trump is plotting to get himself impeached as part of a Snidely Whiplash-esque scheme. Meanwhile, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who has less power but greater freedom, is all but absent from the entire discussion. Here's a suggestion. Democrats need to remember how playground bullying works. Trump is an enormous crook. Yes, but he's also an overgrown, petulant child. To fight him, Democrats should imagine him as a spoiled, lazy, entitled, none too bright 9-year-old who likes to kick puppies and kittens. The first rule of bullies is that they are drawn to perceived weakness. No bully wants to try to pick on someone bigger and stronger than they are. They want to terrorize weak and helpless people who won't fight back. The point is psychological satisfaction of easy domination, not brawling for its own sake. Indeed, most bullies are not actually very good at fighting and will fold immediately if faced with a real physical confrontation. This fits Trump's record to a T. He talks big, but he runs from a fight. He boasts about his physical prowess, but he's an overweight, dainty slob who cheats at golf and can barely walk downstairs. He routinely ripped off small and helpless supporters in his real estate projects, but quickly folded when presented with powerful adversaries like a big bank or the mafia. The Mueller report details that when the investigation was announced, Trump whined, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm effed." But when it turned out Democrats were too scared of their own shadow to actually pursue the impeachment inquiry that Mueller teed up for them, in addition to Trump's unprecedented and wildly unconstitutional profiteering off his presidency, Trump's bully instincts surged right back. He sensed correctly that he could continue to push around Democrats, and so instructed his subordinates to disobey congressional subpoenas, told his Treasury Secretary to keep his tax returns secret, and submitted lawsuits arguing Congress has no right to investigate anything he does. The lesson here, Dom, is that timidity and hand-wringing only encourages Trump. If they don't confront him with tactics just as aggressive as the one he uses, he will conclude they are cowards who can be cowed easily. Now attacking on all fronts might not stop Trump from trying to break the law. Even a fearful bully can fight when cornered. But it's a bare minimum requirement, at least.
Crudy, the second rule of bullies is that they are insecure. They often harm others to soothe their sense of inadequacy.
Is that part true, Dom?
I wouldn't know. Like the potential police officers whose paranoia and inferiority complex constantly haunt him, leading him to lash out at others in order to convince them that he is in control. Trump is one of the most spoiled people who has ever lived. A man whose every whim was indulged by his real estate tycoon father, who gave Trump hundreds of millions of dollars tax-free and constantly bailed out his failed real estate projects. When the wolves were finally at the door in early 2000s, Trump was rescued once again by NBC to create The Apprentice. This divergence between self-image and constant failure no doubt breeds an ocean of insecurity. As Deadspin's David Roth writes, Trump's one deeply held belief that has been evident throughout his whole faithless disgrace of a life is people should be talking about Donald Trump more on television, and he has just seen that part through. He's so narcissistic and needy, it would be pathetic if it weren't for the gruesome consequences of his holding power. Trump is not some evil genius masterminding the overthrow of American democracy. As Albert Dernecko writes, he is a soft, breathless, foam-bone inheritance baby with a brain like a wet saltine cracker because he has been crippled and made monstrous by money and endless permission, and therefore cannot conceive of there being any truth or morality beyond what he wants right now.
He's a celebrity, Dom. They just let him do it.
He did not plan to win the presidency and still has no idea what to do with it or even how it works. But on the other hand, insecure bullies are pretty easy to bait into foot-stomping tantrums, especially if you drill into their sources of self-worth, which in Trump's case would be his business record. Impeachment hearings would of necessity have to focus on his financial records, which would no doubt find a lot of appalling mismanagement and fraud. At any rate, I'd guess there is almost no chance that the Democratic leadership will listen to any of this. They give every indication of actually being the cowards Trump thinks they are. They are enormously privileged themselves, and such people are often bewildered by outright personal confrontation, as opposed to traditional rich people passive-aggressive aggression or gossiping behind people's backs. And that's when they aren't taking the opportunity to sneak through legislation their big donor supporters want, like a bizarre bill from Pelosi that would allow Trump to claim he is cutting drug prices but achieve little. If Democrats actually want to protect American democracy from Trump, they're going to have to remember how to throw a punch. Rhetorically speaking, I would assume.
Dominic, do you think the Democrats get it yet? You can't be passive. You can't respond to Trump's to Trump's beyond the pale hyperbole, let's just call it that. You can't respond with just passive platitudes. It's insufficient. The rails are not sufficient to hold this man in his lane.
Well, you can't play the same game. I know you are, but what am I? I mean, you're going to start calling Trump all sorts of names. Then
Pocahontas. Sure,
but then you fall into his level. I mean, I think this article hits it right. Of course,
are you Michelle Obama? When they go low, we go high.
It's the finances. You want to do damage to this guy, you hit him at the finances.
Well, hence the moniker Pocahontas. The man lost $1.17 billion. He is a complete failure in business. He cheats on his taxes. I mean, what, $400 million or more, the New York Times has reported, his dad funneled to him. Talking about bailing out his failing businesses levels.
Yeah, but when you're a failure like that on a grand scale and have lots of exposure, both, your personality as a I don't know, actor, not an actor, a celebrity, I guess, and exposure, real exposure with liabilities and land and bills and whatnot. Well, he's a perfect target for, I don't know, Russian money laundering, right?
Well, Dominic, what do they say? People often fail up. You rise to the level of your own incompetence. I think he's there. I think Donald Trump has failed up his entire life. Failed upwardly. It's been bailed out. It's been coddled his entire life. The man has become a petulant bully. I mean, did you see that crap he was running out in front of the White House today? I'm essentially innocent. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're panicked. You're in the throes of panic, and you're doing it in the public in front of the cameras. He's panicked because he knows he's guilty, and he knows he's being exposed day by day by day, drip by drip by drip.
Right.
And it's not nearly quick enough for my taste.
Oh, really? Are you for impeachment now, Crudy?
I'm getting there. I'm well on my way. All right,
but then
let's get a second consideration.
No, but that's a fair look. Not everyone agrees on what the remedy is for what is happening right now. Okay, but I think everyone has room to grow and to evaluate and reevaluate their positions, Crudy. That's totally fine. I've been there. And you're not quite there yet, and perhaps the Democratic leadership will eventually get there. But as it stands right now, as we mentioned with the court cases last week and the drip, 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 and Mueller's surprise yesterday, I mean, what a gift. We had no idea that was coming. Thank you for at least coming out and talking, Mueller. I look forward to your congressional testimony on the television and on the radio.
I'm not sure that you will be so rewarded by the testimony of Mueller. As he said, Dom, it's all in there. He already did the book report.
But you don't get to decide whether or not you're testifying, saying that you stepped up there, you put your hand up, you take an oath, and you answer the damn questions. Under what authority is he going to say, no, I'm not going to talk about that? The Fifth Amendment? What are you talking about? He gets up and testifies. He's going to have to answer the questions that are asked of him. But this isn't about Mueller, right? Mueller is the tool, the investigation, and this whole thing. And Barr is out there right now today saying, oh, he could have indicted him. What?
Surprised he didn't make a decision on obstruction. Thought he should have made a decision when, of course, Mueller made it very clear yesterday. Office of OLC does not allow him to make any sort of decision. And the fact that the man can't defend himself in a court of law if he has not been charged means that effectively Mueller was tied. His hands were tied. He did not feel he could make a decision about obstruction.
But how could he make?
But he did lay out a hell of a strong case.
But how could he make a decision about the conspiracy then?
Well, I'm not clear that he did make a decision about conspiracy. I think he said we were unable to obtain enough information to effectively charge. And of course, in the very next breath, talked about the seriousness of the crime of obstruction, which apparently the president did through the insufficient answering of written questions. Of course, he wouldn't give any verbal testimony. Gave, I don't recall, as his answer like 40 different times.
The man with the greatest memory ever.
And therefore, Mueller finds himself unable to bring the proper amount of focus relative to the hyperbole, the crap that Trump's not afraid to spout the very next morning.
Right.
Or on Twitter.
So
I don't think that the rails are keeping him in place. I don't think the checks and balances are sufficient currently.
The checks and balances have not yet been fully engaged, Crudy.
Well, no doubt. No doubt. And the Democrats get punched in the mouth like the the victims of the bully that they are.
But at some point, right, this is when does it happen? Not just for leadership, Crudy, but when does it happen for you? I mean, what do you need to see?
Nobody ever punches Crudy in the mouth. Now getting punched back twice.
Like, they can't get past that double chin.
I give him a tripler. I got matching punchbacks.
When? What is the triggering mechanism for you, Crudy? What should it be for Speaker Pelosi or any of the other Democrats, or hell, the Republicans? What do you think it would take for you to step off the sideline on this issue and say, hell yes, impeach?
The next time Nick calls and talks that trash, that will probably be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Come back with us. Maybe Nick will call. I'll be ready for impeachment then. 844-967-2789. Going to talk about that as well, Dom. What's the proper way to respond to the blissfully ignorant that just don't want to know? And yes, I am talking about you, Nick. Come back with us.
If you're really, really pathetically weak.
In our world, you were either a bully, a toady, or one of the nameless rabble of victims.
Are you having a bully day? I'm having a bully day. Is everyone having a bully day? Bully! Bully! Yes, bully!
You are a rude, terrible person.
Bully! Bully! Yes, bully!
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Oh, thank God we live in this time.
This is Ben Wickler, running for chair of the Democratic Party of Wisconsin with Felicia Martin for first vice chair and Lee Snodgrass for second vice chair. Our platform spells FIRE. F is for fight on issues between elections. I and R for include and respect everyone, rural, suburbs, cities, and communities of color. And E for empower, empowering grassroots activists with better data, technology, and training. Vote for me, Ben Wickler, Felicia Martin, and Lee Snodgrass this Sunday at the Democratic Party of Wisconsin Convention. Learn more at benwickler.com.
Here in the Badger State, we have our own expressions. When we're looking to go on vacation, we state, well, let's go up north. Hello, this is Tom Bennett, president of Teamsters Local 200. Here in the Badger State, we also have another expression, union yes. The strength of the labor movement depends on elected officials here in Wisconsin and Washington, D.C. that support the values of working families that raise the standards for all. Give us a call at Teamsters Local 200 at 414-771-6363 or visit our website at www.teamsterslocal200.com or on Facebook at Teamsters Local 200. Be engaged.
Hey, Milwaukee, do you have an office to clean out or close out? Don't call the junk man. Call my friends at Madison Liquidators. Sustainability is their business model. They'll pick up and recycle and refurbish your used furniture. They'll help keep your old office furniture out of the landfill. Find them online at MadisonLiquidators.com. Call Madison Liquidators, 608-831-1012. Madison Liquidators. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you. The Democratic Party of Wisconsin Convention will broadcast live on WRRD 1510 AM Saturday, June 1st, beginning at 10. Hosted coverage with Sabrina Madison, Earl Ingram Jr., Joe Costa Zamaripa, and the Devil's Advocates through Saturday night speeches. Exclusive WRRD 1510 AM coverage sponsored by the Wickler Martin Snodgrass ticket, Teamsters Local 200, CD1 Democratic Party, and the Packing House Restaurant.
When they go low, we get high. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can join us on the phones. Talk or text toll free. 844-967-2789. Let's get to him. Matthew from Johnson's Creek. Hey, Matthew, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got for us today?
Hey, guys. I've always kind of been against impeachment, and actually your last article that you read kind of pushed me further away, talking about going after a bully's sense of self-worth. Well, this guy sees everything as a competition, and if you can basically scoreboard him by saying, look at the Electoral College, look at the popular vote, it will really, I think, hit him where it hurts. I don't think the impeachment process is much of a competition. It's nuanced, it's boring, and he can just say whatever he wants.
But, you know, the other side of that, though, Matthew, and that's how you deal with the bully, I think, you know, from the psychological standpoint. And I don't give a damn about Trump's feelings. I don't think he's fit to serve. I don't want to win the argument or convince him that he's wrong about this topic or that topic or the Electoral College. He needs to go. You know what I mean? He's sitting there telling McGahn, create a false record. I I mean, he is trying, he's subverting justice by his very existence in that office, Matthew. So let me ask you, though, you're further away from it now. What would push you to it? What can you imagine that would make you think you wake
what
up
if Don
one day?
comes down to your house and threatens you, Matthew?
No, man. What would it take for you, Matthew, to say, yeah, you know what, this is what it is, that he needs to go?
I think, something along the lines of, and I'm not saying it's not there, but something along the lines of actual fraud, an email, something that says, hey, like the Nixon tapes. Basically, I'm sorry, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Nixon tapes. I'm looking for a smoking gun. Otherwise, I don't have faith in the electorate that his, MAGA cultists aren't going to run around screaming witch hunt and just dredge up the worst of that the right has to offer and flood the ballot box.
Matthew, if there were
I'm afraid we'd be
tapes,
stuck with them longer.
Matthew, if there were tapes a la Nixon, well, Trump would just call them fake tapes, right? I mean, even the Access Hollywood tape, at some point, Donald Trump denied the existence or the veracity of the Access Hollywood tapes.
After apologizing for it, right.
Right. Yep. I'm just saying that's what it would take to get me.
Well, but Matthew, the other side of this too, and I hear what you're saying, but the consequence of even going this far is already there, right? I mean, I made a point to watch Hannity last night for a little bit. Oh, I mean, everyone. Mueller's is the biggest POS you could ever possibly imagine, according to everyone, or at least according to Hannity and some of those followers. I mean,
Tucker and Laura Ingraham,
they're already there.
Hosts.
They're already there. And so, I mean, doing the impeachment is not going to get them any further. It's already happening. They're already there.
I understand, but impeachment fits on a bumper sticker. And it's something that the lowest, his uneducated that he loves so well, they'll understand that. They won't understand 10 separate counts of obstruction, that maybe this or maybe that. They'll understand impeachment, my guy, bad. That's it. They don't need any more.
So even if there were to be the obstruction, for instance, is not enough for you. You think that's too complex? Or do you think, because the blind followers are going to be the blind followers no matter what, don't you think, Matthew?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just saying that. I don't know. I just worry that there's the people that soured on him, it might come back like the Walker recall, where they're saying, well, maybe I don't disagree with him, but what they're doing is wrong. So let's energize more of the base than we expected.
Matthew, that's been the attitude I've taken. I don't disagree with you, but I think it becomes a moral imperative at some point. I think that's the point my little often bullied buddy Dominic's been trying to make for some number of weeks now. That is the constitutional remedy. We must impeach. Whether or not Trump is removed from office, I don't think it's going to happen. We don't have the votes. McChinless has made it clear. The Senate's going to try and block whatever they possibly can to jam it up. But the American people need this process. This should be something that dissuades the next corrupt president from doing the same. Come back with us. Devil's Advocates. Or your phone calls 844-967-2789. If you missed something on the Devil's Advocates, don't worry. After you get over your shame, you can check out Dominic